Welcome to Revlog, where Aaron and Bryan both misbehave when we're off camera.
Amen.
You may not know this. This is their best behavior.
All week long.
This
All
is
week long.
the best behaved they ever are. I want to kind of give a little nod. Aaron and I had some fan mail this week. We're grateful for. Had this little golfer we think looks like Bryan.
Is that what it is?
I
don't know.
I think it's Bryan. Did you have a friend? Did you bring a friend with you today?
Well, yeah, I did actually. We were talking about Star Trek the other,
and
someone made a tribble for me. So
That's
you didn't know what a
beautiful.
tribble was.
I didn't.
And someone made one for me. So here you,
That's
thank you, Gina.
That's beautiful.
And I got a sponsor. Brian's got polystyrene as my sponsor. So stop it.
Polystyrene.
There you go.
Trying to be as cool as Brian. We are always.
We are always
Our
as cool as
best
Bryan.
Ms. Styrene,
Yes.
by the way. You call her Polly.
Well, Polly, I'm sorry. We're gonna get to the text thing, but I will say, over the last week, there have been many in the church who've told me they're tiring of all the lust and murder in 2 Samuel. They're getting worn out. Are y'all getting worn out with the lust and murder?
We're going to get rid of one of them at least.
I
this
can't
week.
decide if we've been commenting on like an HBO
No kidding.
series
No kidding.
or the Bible. I
Second
don't
Samuel. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and this week we have two pretty remarkable murders or killings in themselves. I don't know where these are going to go or where you're going to take us today, but this is going to be fun. So we're in 2 Samuel 20, and there's two main scenes here. And so why don't you all help us walk through? Bryan, help us begin this conversation.
Okay, what to do with Joab? I mean,
Good question.
Joab is, David early on says, these sons of Zeruiah are too strong for me. He's talking about Joab and his siblings. And it is quite clear that Joab, David is the king, but Joab has his own agenda here. And he helps David, but yet he also helps himself.
He very much is doing the dirty work of David all through here. And on some level, keeping David's hands clean, but it's...
Well, that's one of the reasons that he's growing so strong. He knows where all the bodies are buried, and David...
He buried them.
Right, exactly. And David has used him for his own political, to benefit himself politically, and yet that's one of the reasons that Joab is so strong. In the previous chapter, he gives David a tongue lashing about how he's treating his troops after Absalom's death, And nobody else could talk to David in this way and get away with it. Joab is very strong, and then here he goes and he carries out, he kills Absalom against David's orders. He is navigating this death of Amasa, whom David had appointed. David had appointed this man general in place of Joab. Joab didn't like it, so he kills him. I mean, this is very. This is not good news for David, really. I mean, he's doing David's dirty work, and he's helping David to some degree, but
so what are your impressions?
Well, I think that David eventually, you read, this is not a spoiler in the sense that we're not going to cover this chapter later on in this series, but David, when he finally is at his deathbed, and he tells Solomon, you'll know what to do with Joab. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, don't let him die naturally. He sees Joab as this rising problem, and he tells Solomon he's going to be a problem for you, so get rid of him.
Bryan, as you're talking, it's got my wheel spinning. As much as 2 Samuel is about David and really David and Absalom, you have so many supporting characters that are, as you said, carrying out, getting their hands dirty. You've got Hushai, who is the kind of inside man. You've got Ittai, who earlier was kind of a subordinate character, but in this chapter, he's one of the ones that leading men in these
Exactly.
battles. You have Ahithophel, who is just bad news from the start
That's
with
right.
Absalom and his advice. It's amazing how these subordinate characters have had such an influence on this story.
Well, yeah,
it's-
and you can
it's
assign
amazing.
him names like like you said, Inside Man or Mole.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Turncoat.
praise Aaron. I think he was showing off his like pronunciation skills of those names there. He was hitting them like one
Did you
after
like
the
that?
other.
Did you like
That-
that?
that was-
too.
Yeah,
Mephibosheth.
well done.
Thank you.
Well
I
done.
practiced.
Yeah. So I mean, was that your kind of primary
Zeruiah.
thought of the text?
Well,
Were you-
that Bryan really kind of stirred that from his comments, but I was thinking we see David uncharacteristic of the last several chapters. David's a man of action, so called, that he's actually calling for something to take place, whereas he's been really in the background these last chapters. Let him curse me. I'm gonna.
Right.
He's been very. He's been grieving and he's been mourning and he's also been facing his own failings. But now we see him taking that position of that general that we've known about in previous
commander-in-chief
commander-in-chief,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's right.
Not necessarily getting out and doing it, but you see him giving orders, which is kind of we've been missing that in
That's
David.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Brian, let's come back to you. What's a question that came out of this text for you?
How does David do it? Is my question. I think we all could say, the sort of the knee-jerk answer would be, well, his strength comes from the Lord. But how does he avail himself of that? And I think I hate to be a broken MP3 player, but
You're so with it.
I would say that he. If I really wanted to be hipster, I'd say a broken vinyl.
There you go.
That's what. But he keeps going back to where is God? I mean,
Yeah.
he just that's when he's most himself.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, amen.
We've loved in our Sunday school class every week saying, okay, where does God show up in this chapter?
Yeah.
And literally, where is God mentioned?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's so
good.
interesting as you
Yep.
read through there. You can kind of get the temperature of this chapter based on God's pleasure, God's anger, and just it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's right.
I would just ask. I mean, and I'm not trying to be flippant, but where was this wise woman from the beginning? I mean, you want to talk about? She's saying, "I've got this under control. You guys have just been messing this up.
Yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah.
want some action? I'll take care of it because we want peace. So let me just bring you back to this head." And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, we've had this drama for 20 chapters, and she's like, she enters.
I'll take care of it.
She
Yeah.
enters the story, and game over.
That's right. His head will be thrown to you from the wall.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So this week we have a man stabbed in the middle of the highway, left there bleeding out. We have a woman who tosses a head over a wall. And so you help us. Which one of these would you like these two guys to reenact? So they'll reenact one of these scenes for you. You comment below. Let us know which one you want them to reenact next week. So we'll get on there. And as a side note too, this week's revlog is brought to you by Heartbreak Road, Bryan's album.
No, don't.
No? Well, he has a wonderful album out.
That's right.
You
That's
may...
We
We're
missed
going to
it.
endanger our nonprofit status.
Yeah, we missed an opportunity not selling those albums at the presentation
Right.
the other week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But
I guess.
yeah, it's wonderful. Thanks for being with us. Please comment below. Help us answer these questions and study this text better. Thank you.
8:42.